This is my second reflection for after Good Friday and before Easter. I ended the last one by saying he descended into hell. He descended into hell. Well, we don't like to think about that. In fact, so many people didn't like the thought of it that they wouldn't say those words when it came time to say them in the Apostles' Creed. They just skipped over them until they could say he ascended into heaven. Jesus didn't go to hell, people would say. He was pure. He was of God. There was no need. This Jesus story is not meant to be a happily ever after story. That all in Christianity is light and love is the biggest disillusionment of all. No wonder people give up when the going gets tough, if this is what they think. No wonder they say, "Where's God?" when times are tough. If we present Christianity as only light and love, there's no wonder people walk away or feel deserted when the darkness comes, or the shadows, whatever you want to call them. Jesus came to live among us, and in that living, he encountered all the tough stuff that living brings. We humans don't have to go to hell. We can live hell right here on earth. We can live it through an opioid addiction. We can live it through homelessness. We can live it through a tragic accident. We can live it through just sheer pain and grief of suffering. And Jesus came to share that, not to be excluded from it. And if he was excluded, we wouldn't gather strength from the fact he was with us, would we? Because we'd think he's off there and we're here suffering. Jesus experienced the shadow times we experience in life. When he was betrayed, when he was denied, when people who he thought were for him were actually against him, when all of those terrible injustices and mocking was upon him, Jesus saw all the humanity that was in that. When people fear, they resort to what we call lower self behaviors. That lashing out, self-justifying, putting other people down to make ourselves feel better, lying, cheating, stealing, anything necessary to get ourselves out of the situation. When in Jesus' last week, those around him showed lower self-behaviors, Jesus didn't pretend it wasn't happening, nor did he lash out. He went deep into that place, and he held all that pain and all that anger and all that anxiety in love. Jesus did not yell or condemn anyone. He didn't guilt trip them. He simply held all of that pain and fear in the deepest and the most holy love. Jesus descended into hell because that's where we need him to be. When we are in our most hellish of times, we need Jesus to hold us until we're able to feel his love and begin our healing and make our return to our higher selves. If you have been in the depths and made a return, you know exactly what I mean. Those who have been to hell and have lived to return know the deep and abiding love that is of God. There is something that gives us that push to get going again. And there is no greater love than the love of God. In the words of the medieval mystic Jacob Boehme, love can enter hell and there redeem it. I have lived and relived and truly believe that the darkest hour is just before dawn. This God-given revelation has taught me that with God's love, anything is possible. And so I say, may we rise in love with joy and alleluias this Easter. Let it be so among us. Amen.